Of reading with Mr. Eble. Uh, Sorry about the delay. I didn't have the book with me, so I now have the book, so I'm good to go. So we're going to continue on with the miscalculations of Lightning Girl, and we'll be reading chapters 30 and 31 today. So again, sorry about the delay, but I'm here now. It'll be okay. Chapter 30. Nana schedules the parent-teacher conference for Tuesday at 7 o'clock a.m. Yesterday, I asked Mr. Stoker what he wanted to talk to her about. I knew I couldn't be failing math. We got the numbers to prove it. He just said, I want to talk about one of my favorite students. That wasn't a lot of help. Nana follows me into the school into room 213. The door stands open. Mr. Stoker sits at his desk working on papers. I stop and grab Nana's arm before we go in. Please don't tell him I'm a savant, I whisper. I'd like to think my favorite teacher wouldn't treat me differently if he knew, but I can't be sure. He might demand that I be switched to a different class, claiming it's for my own good. That's not a chance I'm willing to take. She gives a small nod and a giant eye roll, and then goes into the classroom. Mr. Stoker gets up and greets Nana with a handshake. Nice to meet you, he says. Then he directs us to sit in the front row. No one pays attention to me as I clean the desk that Max Christie usually sits in, or when I take 3 tries to sit. Mr. Stoker perches on his stool. Let me start by saying that Lucy is a wonderful student. She may not always do her work, she may not put in a full effort, but I can tell she is fascinated by my class. I sink a little in my chair. She pays attention, and when she has the courage to ask questions, they're deep, thoughtful questions. More than once, she has stumped me, sent me scrambling back to get my college textbooks. But she's not doing her work? Nana asks. Mr. Stoker reaches over to his desk and grabs a gradebook. She's missed 4 homework assignments. I have a feeling that she completes the assignments, but perhaps forgets them at home or on the bus. I shrug. And what are her grades like? Is she failing? Nana asks. Mr. Stoker laughs. No, she scored between a 92 and a 95% on every quiz and every test. He doesn't realize it takes me longer to get a question wrong than it does to get it right. I even show my work and make mistakes in either the method or the calculations, and I never do the bonus problems. That's pretty good, Nana says. Mr. Stoker clears his throat. I feel Lucy is holding back. I know she's new to public school. There are enormous pressures. He smiles at me and I turn away. Perhaps you're afraid of doing well. I'm doing okay. Yes, you are, he says. Lucy, Nana says, you're the only one who knows what's going on in your brain. Is there something you need to tell us? I shake my head. Nana sighs. Lucy, Mr. Stoker looks at me. I don't want you to be afraid to fail or succeed in my class. Does that make sense? I nod because I want to believe him. Then I look at Nana. She'll try harder, Nana says. Now I have some questions for you. Certainly. Is she making friends? Is she fitting in? Nana holds out her empty hands. These are things that aren't on the report card. Nana, stop. We're considering sending Lucy to another school next year. It's a sort of boarding school, and I need to know if she can handle it, in your honest opinion. Well, Mr. Stoker pauses, scratching his mustache. We'd hate to see her go, but I'm sure she'll do well wherever she ends up. What do you think, Lucy? I guess. So she's making friends? Nana asks again. Maybe Lucy can answer. Yes, I have friends. Please, Nana, stop. Her group for the Cougars Care Project is doing some great work, Mr. Stoker adds. I'm impressed with their commitment to the project and each other. I wonder if he heard about language arts class. Maybe Miss Fleming cornered him in the teacher's lounge and told him about Wendy and Levi's dance after I refused to read aloud. Does he know we were kicked out of the class? Good, Nana stands up. I'm proud of you, Lucy, but if you miss another homework assignment, you will lose your computer for a week, and no TV or candy. She gives me a hug. It was nice meeting you, Mrs. Callahan. Take care of my girl. She's 100% ordinary. Normal, plain, boring, average. Nana winks at me, and I beg with my eyes for her to stop. Absolutely nothing special about her. Mr. Stoker laughs like he's in on the joke, and for a second, I worry that he is. Goodbye, I say through gritted teeth. I love Nana, but sometimes I'd like a more normal, plain, boring grandmother. As Nana walks out the door of room 213, Maddie walks in. They practically knock into each other. Oh, excuse me, Nana says. She steps aside and lets Maddie in. Sorry, ma'am. Please don't call me the cleaning lady, I think, not in front of Nana. Have a great day, Lucy. Nana waves and leaves. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Maddie rolls her eyes and walks over to me. She never talks to me unless there's someone else around to hear her hilarious insults. Are you going to this? She slaps down Wendy's birthday invitation on the desk. Yeah. Don't take this the wrong way, but don't you think Wendy would have a better time if you didn't go? She said. I blink over and over. How can I not take that the wrong way? Are you going? I ask. Of course, she says. She shakes her head like I've asked a stupid question. I've been to every one of Wendy's parties, every single one. I wasn't going to go if she had it someplace stupid again, like at one of her mother's spas. That's where we went the last 2 years, but this place is actually cool. I shrug. She picks up her invitation and sighs. At least we'll have someone to clean the bathroom, she says. Chapter 31. It's been 6 days since we posted about Pi, and he still hasn't found a home. Flint was adopted over the weekend, and even Marty, the Yippy Chihuahua, had a few phone calls. What are we going to do? I asked Levi at our lockers before homeroom. Claire's not going to let him stay at the pet hut forever. I don't know. We can share his pictures again. We've already put Pi all over social media. Levi's moms have helped, and so have Miss Sitten and Cherish. Nana wanted to help too, but she couldn't remember her password. We need to do more. We need to go to class, Wendy says, coming up behind me. But I'll write up a new blog post later. Something with more excitement, more adjectives. We take our seats, me 3 times. We listen to morning announcements, then Mr. Stoker starts math class. I'm not a fan of pop quizzes, he says, but sometimes they are a necessary evil. He goes to a desk and grabs a stack of papers. Groans fill the room. I add a heavy sigh. I don't mind a math test, but I'd rather listen to Mr. Stoker talk and explain mathematics in a simple 7th grade way. It would be faster if he just wrote F on the top of my paper, Levi says under his breath. I bet you get at least a C, I whisper. Gee, thanks. Think of it this way, Mr. Stoker continues. It's more of a test of my teaching skills than a test of your competence. He hands out the papers face down. Does that mean you get the grade? Derek asks. Nope, sorry. The grade is all yours. If I told you it wasn't for a grade, you wouldn't try your best. A grade is your motivation. Pizza's my only motivation, Derek says. Mr. Stoker places a test on Levi's desk and then on mine. When all the papers have been handed out, he tells us to start and turns on some classical music. I expect the test to be a review of perimeter, area, and volume, and the first page is. The second page is a complex word problem. I glance at Levi's test. Eyes on your own paper, Mr. Stoker says, obviously watching me. The problem in front of me is hard, really hard. The octagon, P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8, is inscribed in a circle with the vertices around the circumference in the given order. Given that the polygon P1, P3, P5, P7 is a square of area 5, and the polygon P2, P4, P6, P8 is a rectangle of area 4, find the maximum possible area of the octagon. Immediately, I know that the diameter of the circle is the square root of 10, so that's all I can do in my head. So I knew too. There's no way anyone else has the same test. This is not middle school math, maybe not even high school. I try to work and rework the problem in my brain, never write anything down, until Mr. Stoker collects the papers. He spends the rest of the class going over the answers. He does perimeter, area, and volume. He doesn't mention the special problem on page 2. I can't concentrate. My brain is stuck trying to figure the area of the octagon. I tap my toe 3 times under my desk, but I'm still focused on the problem. When the bell rings, I'm slow to get up on purpose. I tell Wendy I'll see her later, and I approach Mr. Stoker. You didn't give me the same test as everyone else, I say, staring at the floor. Every student is unique, he says. Sometimes I create unique tests. He goes to his desk and picks up the pile of quizzes. That's not fair. It's certainly fair. It's not equal. That's the word you were looking for. Equal. Pulls my paper out and turns to the second page. You didn't teach us this. He shrugs and points at one of his posters. The Pythagorean theorem has been on the wall since the first day of school. You know how to calculate area. You know an octagon has 8 sides. You know the angles. You didn't teach this, I say again. But he's right, and that makes me angry. I know all the elements needed to solve this. Why can't I solve it? You didn't even try it. He taps the sheet. I can't do it. Maybe not. He actually smiles. I haven't solved it myself yet. It's from an old Putnam competition. That's the major collegiate mathematics contest. He stares at me, waiting for a reaction. I don't move. I don't blink. I don't say anything. Well, he continues, I'll let you know if I come up with the solution. What kind of teacher gives out a problem he doesn't have the answer to? I think. My cheeks feel hot, and I'm not sure whether it's from frustration or excitement. Mr. Stoker tears the second page off and gives it to me, in case you want to work on it at home. I shove the paper into a notebook and leave. The problem gnaws at my brain during Spanish. I scribble an imaginary whiteboard in my head. I plug in the numbers. Their colors and shapes get messy, like I'm forcing them to play along when they don't want to. I erase the mess in my brain and restart again and again. I can't take it anymore. I raise my hand and ask Senora Hubble if I may use the bathroom. She says see, and doesn't question me when I take my notebook and pencil along. As I run down the hall, I pull out a Clorox wipe. I use it to push open the door to the bathroom and again on the stall handle. Standing over the toilet, I write down the first half of the answer, the easy part. It takes me 9 minutes to work out the rest of the problem. I got it. It actually wasn't that hard once I put pencil to paper. I want to show Mr. Stoker that I figured it out, maybe leave it on his desk. But I can't. I stare at my solution, lost in the beauty of it, the way an art lover would look at a painting in a museum. Then I tear it into little pieces and flush it down the toilet. Unlike an original artistic masterpiece, I can do the problem again, and it will be just as beautiful. So we will stop there. Tomorrow, I will be on at noon, so I'm sorry about the delay today. But students, keep working hard, keep taking care of each other, and most importantly, stay safe. And remember, range is the way.